In response to Kaylin's recent video, one of the requests that was made for another video was, what are you growing in the garden? And so we thought we would just take you out into the garden and show you what we've planted and a little bit about why we've done some things the way that we have. Behind me here is the garlic patch. Of course, that was planted last fall, and you can see in the background that is some cilantro that is getting ready to go to seed, and I'm going to let that happen because the seed that comes out, in case you didn't know, on cilantro is actually coriander, and also because I save my seeds for the following year as much as I can. So let's go over to the main part of the garden and I'll show you what we have. If you watched our video on planting potatoes, you know that these are our 2 potato rows right now. Each of these rows, excuse me, are, how long are these rows, honey?
90 feet.
These are 90 feet. So most of this row is red Norlands, but here right at the end we have a little bit of Yukon Golds and a little bit of Yukon Golds on this end, and the rest of the way down is Kennebecs. I prefer Kennebecs for storing. I've never really grown Yukon Golds too much, but I really like the flavor. And the red Norlands I really prefer for like mashed potatoes, cream potatoes. They're very good. These actually need to be healed again right now, and I want to show you something. Come over here. This is a very good thing. I'm very grateful to see. I'm not sure if she's going to cooperate, but on the underside of this leaf is a ladybug, and we see a lot of ladybugs in here, and here's another one over here. We do have a few flea beetles in the garden, but it's not bad, and diatomaceous earth, which I'll show you in just a minute, seems to be controlling it. So we'll go down to the other end and I'll show you some other stuff. Okay. We planted all different kinds of onions here, and if you kind of come a little closer, I want to show you. We have very old sawdust that we're using for mulch here. This sawdust is probably 40 years old. We had a dump truck load of it brought in. Anytime you use stuff like this, you really need to add some form of nitrogen to it. Even though this is pretty well broken down, some of it is actually gone to dirt. You can see this is actually, it looks more like dirt than sawdust. But at any rate, it makes a good mulch to help keep the moisture in the soil. If you'll notice with the onions here, they're planted too close, and we did that on purpose. They don't really have enough room to expand and make a good sized onion, but I love green onions, so I plant them too close, and then to thin them I just pull an onion now and again between, and that kind of helps to loosen up the soil a little bit, makes it a little easier for the other onions to expand. We have yellow onions, white onions, and red in here, and I prefer the yellow onions for storing, for keeping, so that's what we have the most of. These 2 rows are, we're planting a lot of varieties this year that I've never planted before, so I don't really know what to anticipate or how they're going to behave. We got our peas out a little bit too late this year, so I'm not sure how they're going to do, and all of them didn't come up. I had some old seeds that I wanted to get rid of, so that's what this is. I like to plant thickly, because what I mean by that is with the peas here, if you can see, we do have a fence to support them that they can grow up on. But I also have some lettuce planted in here. We have the mulch as well, and then I have the lettuce. The reason I do stuff like that is because, number one, why waste the space? And number two, it just planting a little bit in between helps to keep down the weed pressure and helps to shade the soil, keep it cooler. And then the peas, as they grow up, will also shade the lettuce so that the lettuce will do better. When we first turned the soil over last, I think it was probably the end of September, 1st of November, something like that, we hardly saw any worms. But now, since we amended the soil and we did till in a cover crop that we planted for the winter, it's incredible how many more worms we have. Right here, I've never planted cress before, and I don't know, maybe this is not the best time of the year, so I just planted a little bitty patch of it. It's not doing so well. But here I have lemon balm, which it's just beginning to come up. So I'm kind of excited about that because I really like lemon balm. If you come on back a little bit, I have the radish patch, and the reason I only have just a small patch of radishes is because when I plant lettuce, I like to plant radishes in with the lettuce. And the reason for that is kind of the same principle as planting the onions the way that I do. As the lettuce grows, the onions will outgrow the lettuce, and I can pull, the radishes. The radishes will, I can pull them to eat, which there are already some that are we've been eating on. You can see here, I don't know if you can zoom in on that. I don't want to pull it right now. But at any rate, we're already eating some of these, and they've only been in the ground. They've probably been, I think I planted them about 4 weeks ago, if that. And the lettuce that I had in here, it was really old seeds. Like I said, I'm just trying to do some experimentation and get rid of some old seeds that I had. And so the lettuce that I had in here didn't germinate well, so I just replanted this just last week, just probably about 5 or 6 days ago. So you do see a little bit of flea beetle damage on these. I just used diatomaceous earth and the flea beetles are gone. If you come on down, I had never planted Swiss chard before, and I didn't really even know I liked it until I got hold of some salad that had it in it, and I thought, what is that stuff? It was delicious. And so I planted some. Again, we had, before, I don't know what happened, it kind of got away from me a little bit, but we did have some flea beetle damage on this, but I've put the diatomaceous earth, and they're fine. But anyway, we've been eating on this stuff, and the taste of this stuff is absolutely incredible. On down here a little further, we have some spinach, and we've already started eating on the spinach. It's just beginning to get big enough to eat. And if you come on down here, the dill is doing very well. And I planted the dill as I did because it's going to grow up. The dill will get probably, I don't know, yay high. And it will help to shade the spinach and stuff from the afternoon sun. And I'll tell you about the lettuce that I have here in just a minute, something that I did with that. These are the onions. If you, well, most of you haven't seen it. We did a gardening video with some children. I don't know, I think it was the 9th of April. We haven't published that yet. But at any rate, these are the onions that Kaylin and the boys planted, and they're really doing well. So if you come on down here, I like dill. I planted a lot of dill. So this whole thing is dill. I just planted this, I think last Thursday or Friday. This right here is dill that was planted before that. And we just harvested a few sprigs of that for lunch today, and it's just maybe 4 sprigs a piece in our salad, and it just made so much difference in the flavor. I want to show you what I do. This is one of my favorite lettuces. This is black-seeded Simpson. You notice how thick it is. It just looks like a carpet of lettuce, and then I have some radishes in there. Again, the reason that I plant the radishes like that is because when I pull it out, it kind of helps to aerate the soil a little. But each day I come out here and I just reach way down in there and I grab a handful and pull it up, twist off the roots, and just harvest enough for Kaylin and me to have a salad. And when I come back the next day, you can see where I harvested. It's 6 o'clock, and about 12 o'clock, 12:30 I harvested, and it's already beginning to fill in. Every day when I come back out here, I can't tell where I harvested the day before. That's how quickly this is growing. And I plant it thick like that because I like the young tender lettuce, and I just pull it out by the handsful to have the nice tender salad. And also planting it thick like that keeps weeds completely shaded out. The weeds can't grow. Here is some cilantro that's coming up, and I just planted some more cilantro in another place. I have a few beets here. I didn't plant too many. I'll probably do more of those maybe in the fall, I don't know. Here's some more lettuce and radishes that I've planted thickly. And this is something that is very interesting to me because I've never grown this before. And those of you who know wild edibles, you may think this is lamb's quarters, but it is not. This is quinoa. I pulled up a weed, lamb's quarters. I want to come over here. I want to show you how much this looks like quinoa. Quinoa, lamb's quarters. I got to do some research on this. Here we have two kinds of carrots, and this kind, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the writing is off of my little card here. I'd have to go look in our book. By the way, we keep a log book of everything that we plant and when we plant it, how it does, so that we can not only rotate, but we know what varieties do best in our area. But this is some sort of purple carrot, which I've never tasted purple carrots before, so they're doing really well. And these are Danvers carrots. They really have taken off. And again, I plant them thickly because I like little bitty, like finger-sized carrots, and like right here where it's very thick. When these get up and start really developing the root, I'll just take and pull out a bunch of them, and I'll have the little bitty carrots that I can eat, little fingerling carrots. They're delicious. Right here is a little bit of kohlrabi that I planted for Kaylin. I don't particularly care for kohlrabi so much, but I planted for my sweetheart. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Here's some sweet onions that somebody gave me. I forgot about these. What's that called? It's called Granix onion. That's a sweet onion that Farmer Dave gave me to plant. Right here is a variety of corn, and you see the rows are very short, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But this variety is called Glass Gem. It's a field corn, and the packet was very small that I got from Baker Creek, so I had to, when you plant corn, don't just plant one long row of corn because it won't pollinate correctly like that. If you only have a few seeds, then you need to plant like I did here, 4 short little rows. And it's coming up very well. We have some more corn planted back here. Kaylin can pan the camera around there. But I think the crows have come down the row, and you have to watch the crows because they will come behind you when the corn is starting to come up, and they'll pull up the plant and eat the kernel of corn at the bottom. And so I think that's probably what's happening here. Let's come on down here. We have a few more peas planted here. These were not planted that long ago, but they're beginning to come up fairly well. We call them mystery peas because I had a big bag of seeds, and there were just a whole bunch of loose peas in the bottom of the bag, so those are mystery peas. Right here we had some extra potatoes, just red and white potatoes left over from last year, and rather than waste them, we just planted them in here. And then I told you that I like cilantro, so I came down here and I planted some more cilantro with lettuce. Now, I like to plant dill, dill and lettuce, or cilantro and lettuce, or lettuce with some other crop that's a little bit tall, because as it gets a little bit warmer, that tall crop will shade the lettuce a little bit and help it to last a little bit longer. Under the hoop here, I've planted some peppers and some tomatoes just because I want to push the envelope a little bit and see how they'll do under a little tunnel. The peppers really have surprised me. They're doing quite well. I have sweet peppers and some cayenne peppers, and the tomatoes are beginning to perk up. We had a few nights that were in the low 40s, and they did not like that. But they did survive, and I do have some radishes and some lettuce planted amongst them. And here next to it, we have some green beans planted, and down the center of the green beans, I have dill. I like dill. And I think that's all we have planted right now. We do have over here, let's go look at
We
the
can't
strawberries.
forget about the rocks. We didn't plant these. They just were here, and this is our second picking. We've already tilled and picked the rocks once, and we still have got piles. We've got a lot of rocks. It would
I
make
told
a
my husband he was a rock star.
yeah. We could have a rock garden. These rock piles, and this is our second picking on some of this. And just in case you were wondering what we're doing with all of our rocks from the garden, well, here you can see what we've done with most of them, and what we want to do in hopes of damming up a branch here for a small reservoir that we could use to irrigate the garden with, and also we had planned to use this for baptisms. It's been a blessing and we really enjoy this, and so does Charlie.
Very good. Kaylin made me a couple of grow boxes here on this side of the garden, and one of them I don't have anything planted in yet, but this one is just different herbs and stuff, and then I have some flowers down on the end. And I just was thinking about the fellas that have contacted me that were in Vietnam with my dad, and I just wanted to plant this in memory of all the men who fought in Vietnam, and thankful that you came home safely. Let's come down here, I'll show you the strawberries. But, they've done well, they've really come out well. This one right here was, I didn't know if this one was going to survive, but they're all really looking good. And we're already starting to get some blooms on them, so we'll have to get these covered with some kind of netting soon. What do you say we go for a walk in the creek?
Okay.